Hi, I'm Colleen Bishop, the Preparedness Pro. You've joined me today at just the right time. I'm going to make one of my fabulous desserts. It's probably one of the most asked for desserts that I make, and it's made from shelf-stable foods. It's called what I call a molten chocolate cake, because you can never have too much chocolate, and there's actually 3 different types of chocolate in here. You can make this in the solar oven. I'm actually going to make it in my small crock pot with my generator, because I love using my little Roadrunner and just seeing how many things it'll work, so that if someday I do find myself without power, I don't have any surprises. I know what I can rely on. So I'm just going to use the smaller model that Hummus has, and that's called the Roadrunner, to run this crock pot on low for about 3 to 4 hours for this particular recipe. You can get the bigger generator. They're both solar generators, but there's other ways you can charge them up. You can get the bigger generator for something more like your Bosch mixer or some wood flour grinders and things of that nature. But today we're just going to play with the little baby Roadrunner. If you're interested in getting these, I suggest you go to 5starpreparedness.com. They have a guarantee that they will have the best prices on these, particularly the Sentinel. They guarantee that they'll beat any advertised price. I am always about the deal. So, alright, moving on, let's get into the chocolate. So, I was asked to actually show some of these recipes, and they're going to be featured on a popular website that I can explain later. I don't want to divulge it now, and neither do they. So, this is called the Molten Chocolate Cake. Really should be molten chocolate. Chocolate. Alright. We'll start out using a sophisticated tool. Rachel Ray. She's got to be proud of me using that there, huh? Alright. This is just a Devil's Food cake mix. It has been kept in my cool, dry pantry. This is 3/4 cups of oil. Whatever oil you want. I actually prefer for this recipe using coconut oil, because when you have a little coconut mixed in with that chocolate, heaven! Alright, now this is sour cream. Now to you that may not seem like a shelf-stable food, but you can actually buy powdered sour cream, even powdered cream cheese. And again, 5-Star Preparedness offers that. But here's the cool thing. When I run out of sour cream in my little plastic bins, most of the time I'll just make up another batch of sour cream for my powdered sour cream, and then keep that in the refrigerator. This is my everyday real life, so that I get used to this. Either way, sometimes I will cheat though to make it really, really dangerous, and I will combine the powdered sour cream with the powdered cream cheese to get a really, really good taste. You will want to, when you're using the powdered sour cream, or the cream cheese in a baked good, you will want to use about a drop of vanilla, or even better, almond extract. When you use almond extract in a chocolate dessert, you're going to get a chocolate covered cherry taste, depending on how much of that almond extract you use. So there's another little hint. So far we've got oil, the cake mix, and now I'm going to put in some instant chocolate pudding. Just 2 of the small packages. Again, I store these dry goods in a cool, dry, dark environment. They go way past their expiration dates when you do that, because expiration dates are not made by scientists. They are made by attorneys and marketing people, so that you will throw out and go back and rebuy. Alright, another fabulous tool use. What am I going to do? Pull out the electric can opener or whatever if there's no power? Alright, so now I have used semi-sweet chocolate chips, just one of the small bags, 2 small packets of chocolate pudding, and 1 box of the Devil's Food cake. If you really want it to be even more fabulous, you can use the Devil's Food cake that already has the pudding inside. Now I'm going to add 4 large eggs. So let me grab those as soon as I get this meshed together a little bit. Alright, 4 large eggs. Now, these eggs, I keep, you never want to open up or crack it over your food, because you don't want the shell to get in it. And yeah, your hands will be nasty, but I'd rather do that than having shells show up in my dessert. making sure. Anyway, these particular eggs I got on sale about 4 months ago, and I just bring them home and I warm up about a 1/4 cup of mineral oil. And I slather them all over the eggs so that I can keep the eggs without having to keep them in the refrigerator. Anyway, I slather the eggs with the mineral oil to keep them shelf stable without the need for refrigeration, and I simply put them down in my cool, dry room. What I also do though is I make sure that every month they get rotated. They get flipped, and that's very important if you're going to save eggs that way. It's actually a farmer that taught me that little trick. I'll be honest, I am not a fan of mineral oil. I don't use mineral oil in any other capacity. It is a petroleum product, and petroleum products contribute to being estrogen dominant, which contributes to all kinds of female things we're not going to talk about while we're talking about chocolate. So, but I am not concerned with the minor amount of mineral oil that may make it into this fabulous dessert. But otherwise, I would never use baby oil because that's all 100% mineral oil. Okay, we're just going to stir this till it's nice and mixed up. Just mixed up like me. Alright, because I wouldn't have a beater, and my hand beater, it would be too hard in this one, because this is a nice thick. What we're going to end up with on this particular dessert is we're going to end up with what you may get in fancy restaurants called molten chocolate cake. And it's not cakey, it's more like a fudgy, gooey, wonderful dessert. The very top of it will be cakey. When you dig into it, it will be more just gooey, ooey gooey chocolate mess. Because you've got the cake mix in there, but then you will have the small chocolate chips that are going to melt, and it's just going to be fabulous. Okay, I'm just going to stir this up a little bit more. I want everything mixed in really well, and I'll be right back. I've got it mixed up nice. So now I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is a special vanilla sent to me by one of my readers I consider to be a friend. So the recipe normally calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but I'm going to give this an extra special oomph by using 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 teaspoon of almond extract. So now not only do we have a molten chocolate cake, but we have a chocolate covered cherry molten chocolate cake. Alright, there we go. I'm just going to incorporate that in here real quickly. Yay! Alright. This is going to make a great dessert for some scouts that are coming over a little later for their Pinewood Derby. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the inside of this small crock pot. Like I said, you can do this in a solar oven. If you do it in a solar oven, you're going to want to keep it out of that direct bearing down heat. You want to keep your temperature around 300. So instead of chasing the sun all day, you want to be just behind the sun. About every hour you'll change that. Either way, it tastes good, but I have to say it tastes much better in the solar oven. But we've got a cloudy, snowy day today, so that won't happen. All right, just going to dump it all in here. You believe you're making a cake in a crock pot? This is going to be so, so good. All right. We're going to turn it on to low after we plug this into our little humless Roadrunner model. Okay, it's plugged in. All I have to do is turn it on. Ta-da! We're ready to go. So you've got a green light that tells you you're getting the power just like you need to. You also have this little feature when you push this button. It tells you how much power we've got. So we were all the way up to the top here. Here's your on-off switch. That's all you've got to worry about. Now we turn it on to low. Nothing changed in my power coming from the Roadrunner. So we're good to go. We're going to cover this and completely leave it alone for 3 to 4 hours. Do not give in to temptation and stir this. It's going to get puffy. You may end up with small scorch spots when you do it in a crock pot, and it's okay. It tastes fine. Fabulous. It's kind of like the more crusty parts of the brownie. In a solar oven, though, you will not end up with any scorch spots. It's very, very hard to burn or scorch anything in a solar oven. It's fabulous. But again, we're stuck with the crock pot today. Regardless, it's going to be absolutely delicious. We'll come back in about 3 to 4 hours and see how we're doing. Okay, let's just zoom in here and see the progress on our molten chocolate cake. It's starting to get puffy in there. Oh, this is going to be so good. We've got another 3 hours on this. Okay, we're just going to check on our molten chocolate cake again. It's looking great. It's starting to get more cooked on the outside, and then we'll get a little puff over on the top. This is going to be so yummy. You'll love it. Alright, just a little update here. I just checked on this, and my Roadrunner ran out of juice. So this is 120 to 190 watts, so I didn't expect it to cover the whole cooking period. So anyway, I've switched to my humless Sentinel. More power. Anyway, just plugged it in here, and it's fully charged. Turned it on. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Looks like we have about another hour cooking time. You can cook it on high and cook it faster, but I like it cooked on low. It just is more gooey, and everything meshes together much better when I cook it on low. But it looks to me, based on this texture we're getting now, it looks to me we're about another hour of cooking. I'm just drooling, just in anticipation, because this is going to be so very, very yummy. So now I'm going to start associating hummus with chocolate. I'm a mess. Alright, I'll come back at you when we're finished. Okay, looks like she's done. Yep, nice and soft. Now it's time. I like going right in the middle. It's the best part. See, it's more like a pudding kind of cake. Oh, yum. Now that is molten chocolate cake. See how it's just so yummy. Okay, I have to take a bite. Don't film me taking a bite. Oh my gosh. That is so good. It's light, it's fluffy, it's gooey. A little vanilla ice cream on top. It would be absolutely perfect. Enjoy!
I'd be your angel.